Now you can take an angle, the same angle to Polaris, 6 miles straight above your head. So if you're at 45 degrees and you have obviously 40, which is determined by your 45-degree angle to Polaris, and you are 6 miles above in an airplane, you take an angle to Polaris, and you will still get 45-degree angle, because the celestial bodies work different. A lot of people don't realize that, and that's a bit difficult to take on board, but it is actually a fact. Your elevation, you're changing your elevation doesn't change your angle to Polaris or any other celestial body, as long as you hold the same zenith and you're taking the angle at the same time. So you can take an angle at off of the sea level, off of zero, right? And someone else can take the same exact angle from an airplane 6 miles above you, and both, if you take the same, if you're both referencing the same celestial body, and you're both taking the same angle at the same exact time, then you will both get the exact same angle. So elevation doesn't change the angle to the celestial bodies. There's something a lot of people don't realize and don't know. And that was a bit difficult for me to take on board, because naturally you want to think that, but if you're raising an altitude, it's going to change the angle. No, not with the celestial bodies. They are different from everything earthbound.
Hello, I'm back again looking at another one of Brian's Logic's globe killing videos. In this video, he's made a claim that says an angle to Polaris measured at sea level should be the same as an angle measured 6 miles up in a plane, as long as they share the same zenith line. Now, he admits that this is the case, but doesn't explain why it's the case, nor does he show how it works for a flat plane. So let me explain what I've got going on in this GeoGebra presentation. I've got the Earth here in green. I have this green dot here which represents the boat on the Earth's surface. Directly above it, I've got a blue dot, and that represents the aeroplane. I can alter the plane's height above the boat using this slider, or this input box. Way above the North Pole, at a height of 6 times 10 to the power of 9 miles, I have Polaris, and its position is fixed on the y-axis. There are 2 direct lines of sight to Polaris. One is from the boat, and the other is from the plane. Now, in order to take an angle measurement to Polaris, I need horizontal references for each observer. These are simply perpendicular lines to straight down. This checkbox gives me the ability to hide them so I can declutter the screen. I left a comment on Brian's video asking him how the measurements would compare for the boat and the plane as they travel south and cross the equator. And as usual, Brian thought this broke and killed the globe model again, because how can they both claim to measure 0 degrees at the equator when the plane observers can still see Polaris above their visible horizon? Before we change the height to 47,000 feet, the height around which aeroplanes fly, let's find out what happens at around 1,500 miles high. Notice that when on the equator, the lines of sight to Polaris are directly over the horizontal reference lines. This means the boat will see the star on the visible horizon, but the plane will see the star align with the horizontal line on the plane's cockpit hood. North of the equator, the measured angles are above the horizontal reference lines. These are elevation angles. South of the equator, the boat is unable to see Polaris, so they can't measure an angle. However, the plane can still see the star. Notice that this time the measured angle is below the horizontal reference line. This is now a depression angle. Continuing south means Polaris will drop lower and lower and lower until the Earth gets in the way and it can no longer be seen.
So the first thing we need to understand is that this HUD horizon line is always showing us the position of horizontal. This is 5 degrees above horizontal, and this -5 represents 5 degrees below horizontal. You can see clearly that the Earth's horizon is about 3.7 degrees below horizontal, and that horizon drop is caused by the curvature of the Earth. The higher you go, the more the horizon drops, and 3.7 degrees is correct for 47,000 feet.
I've changed the altitude of the aircraft to 47,000 feet, and I have the boat and the plane currently sitting above the equator. They start to travel south, and the elevation angles align with the lines of sight to the star. Continuing down, you see that the boat can no longer see the star, but the plane can. If we creep down further, there'll come a point, hopefully around 3.7 degrees as Wolfie says, that the plane will no longer see the star. So it's 3.1, 2, getting closer. Right there. So 3.8, and the plane can no longer see the star.
As I'm sure most of you already know, but I just wanted to state that we have prominent members of our opposing side stating that elevation angles to Polaris do not reference the horizon, especially the sea horizon, right? So
It's not that they don't reference the horizon ever. It's more like they don't need to reference the horizon. I didn't reference the horizon in this demonstration, but I could have if I wanted to. Doing so would have drastically altered the measured angle for the plane, but luckily there are adjustments that can be made for that height. So we have Polaris that is very far away, we have light coming in essentially in parallel, and we have elevation angles matching the latitude for any number of observers on land, at sea, or in flight. The globe actually works. It doesn't have to be 3959 either, it could be 7959 and it would still work. So something tells me that Polaris didn't kill the globe today, and this is certainly not the end of the story. Well, that's it for now. Don't forget to check out my other videos and like, subscribe, tell me what you think, and I'll catch you later.